Welcome to Stormy Willow, where we explore the paranormal, celebrate the odd, and never trust the living. I'm Sarah, witchy crybaby.
I'm Adele, Joy Vacuum.
Well, hello there, Joy Vacuum.
Hello, witchy crybaby.
I love that. I'm like, that's me. I'm a witchy crybaby, and I love it.
Aren't we all these days?
Aren't we all? Really, it's so funny. I was talking to some like-minded buddies, and they were very crafty. I was like, how do we feel about making voodoo dolls of like Donald Trump and Elon Musk? So like witchy crafts, like witchy crybabies, like, why not?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of crybabies, I have a really freaking scary story of why you should not trust the living in today's booger news.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's hear it.
All right. So thank you, AP News. So this is a real life nightmare, okay? The monster under the bed was real. So let's head on down to Grand Bend, Kansas, where a child told their babysitter, hey, there's a monster under the bed. So when the sitter looked, she came face to face to an actual flipping human being man hiding under this kid's bed. Not a ghost.
Like, I don't
not
even
a
know how you
shadow,
would react to that.
a real man. So apparently, this man had a restraining order and had no business being there, like at the home. So apparently, this fella's already kind of like made some, this family uncomfortable. And so when the struggle broke out, the babysitter like took this guy down, like, so it was a struggle. This poor little boy was knocked down and the man took off, but he was caught the next day after a foot chase, and now he faces multiple charges including aggravated burglary, battery, and child endangerment. So sometimes real monsters aren't from the other side, like we warn you every single episode to never
Yeah.
trust living. This just terrified me. Can you imagine?
Especially because, like, the expectation of, like, I'm gonna prove there's nothing under here, and then there is, like, ah!
Like, yeah, like, like how many times? I mean, this is a very common thing, right? Kids are like, hey, I'm scared of the dark. There's something under my bed. You go in there trying to act all big and brave, and lo and behold, there's a damn man under there. Like, yeah, I thank goodness. I don't know how old the babysitter was.
I wonder what the hell the guy did before, though, to get the restraining order.
Yeah, so the article didn't really go into that. So I don't know if maybe they just can't because maybe there's a pending trial or something, who knows, but not this isn't good.
You definitely know it's something more sinister just because he's already been
Been hanging
restrained
around
for
there.
hanging around
Yeah,
these people.
I just can't. What a horrible thing, Like, and thank God that kid said something. Like, what if the little boy didn't say anything or notice? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
or
this
it's
is a
almost
terrible.
like, is that why? Like, or did he think a monster was under his bed because he knew someone was under his bed?
Or was he like, this guy is a monster? Like, I told you.
I told you,
Like, what?
Travis was under the
I told you Travis was under there. He's a monster.
bed.
But I'm glad that the babysitter's fine, kid is fine, and the perpetrator is caught. So, all is well there. But holy shit, talk about just panic overload.
Yeah.
No kidding. But anyway, that's just an example of why, we're not afraid of no ghosts. We're afraid of human beings.
And why
And
we
that's a
check behind our shower curtains
I
in the
do.
closets ever so
I still
often.
do that. I still do it. Still do it. Well, this is a section of our podcast where we talk about the astro weather, and we got a big one. We got some important stuff coming up this week, guys.
Mm,
All
okay.
right,
I don't really want to hear it.
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So we're gonna dig in. So we're gonna. Can you believe it? It's gonna be April. I mean, so we've got our forecast from March 30th through April the 5th. And we're going to expect some metaphysical turbulence along the way, but we've got a chance of some sudden clarity. So, okay. But here's the big, huge headline for the week, guys. So, Neptune has officially packed up its misty bags and has moved into fiery Aries. Now, this is the first time this has happened since the 1860s. That's right, not 1960s, 1860s. So, what was happening then, guys? The
The Civil
Civil
War.
War. So, this is going to be a huge, huge vibe shift. So, it's going to be like you're going to be traded in your dream journal this week for a sword. And that came
Shit.
from the
Okay.
that came from the top dogs. So this whole age of soft, let's just escape and go into a nice dream is gonna morph into some major action and some divine rebellion. So if we just kind of think about what's been happening in our world recently and kind of go back to 1860s, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's I don't know.
It's weird.
I'm excited to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher.
It's it
How
is
sometimes astrology does seem to be kind of like what.
well, I do want to call that out, Adele, and I'm so glad that you mentioned it. So I follow this astrologer on TikTok, and of course I don't have her information right here, but she does astrology, like she takes like the political movements and puts it in like an astrology like chart or whatever. She's like a real professional, not like me here reading this to you. But so the whole big debacle. There's some crazy news every week, but especially this last week with the leaked war stuff on text or
Yeah.
War Star, whatever it's called. So she predicted that, and if you'll recall, in our forecast, it said, and I quote, to watch your text. You want to make sure somebody you don't mean to be on your text isn't on your text, and then
That's
all the
funny.
shit went down. So I'm just saying, I think that's the skies know, guys. I don't know how it works, why it works this way, but I think we can all maybe feel like we're relating to the 1860s right now. And so and that's no mistake. So let's get a vibe check. So you may feel like this week that you are waking up from a long nap and realizing that your house is on fire kind of situation. Like, oh shit. But guess what? It's not going to be something accidental. You're going to feel like you're the dragon that caused it. So
Hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
So you're going to have some restlessness, some urgency, and some tug of war between your dreamy side and you need to fucking do something now energy. So a lot of that's going to be pulling at you this week. So you might feel like, you know, you might feel like 1 second you're ready just to burn bridges and say screw you guys, and at the same time be like love can build a bridge. So you're just gonna feel all of these kind of emotions, which honestly, guys, that's just the Neptune and Aries. Okay, that's what's happening, that's what that pull is. And I think a lot of us have been feeling kind of like this for a hot minute, so it may just be like your normal kind of week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But our midweek, we're going to have some glides through grounding, which is always a good thing. And we're going to kind of get our footing back in the middle of the week. So just know that once you hit like this midweek, there's going to be a real witch on a broom and a lightning storm kind of energy. You're going to be ready to be like, let's fly, witches. So whether you want to run headfirst into some big ideas, some big changes, or maybe you're like, I don't have anything else to lose, I'm going to make a big mistake, I don't care. Don't worry, it's all a part of the arc. It's supposed to happen that way. So I don't know what this means, but I'm loving it. But just a cosmic PSA warning for you. This week is going to be more about your initiation over perfection. So, really, an energy to get off your ass and do something. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, it doesn't matter if it looks pretty. You're really going to have this pull to be like, I have to start this hard conversation. I have to reinvent my work vibe. I have to be like, it's now or never. I've got nothing else to lose kind of vibe. Now, also, just a warning, a shadow watch warning for you. Watch for, like, if you're feeling impulsive, make sure that it's not disguised as divine purpose, which could be kind of a hard thing. Like, is this an impulse or is this a divine purpose? Like, are
Yeah.
you really called to do this thing? So that's going to be a tough one to maneuver. So just remember, if something feels too good, too urgent, or too fated, just maybe question it for a second, because Neptune can really cast illusions, and especially when you've got this fiery like Aries armor, it could be really hard to navigate that. So just listen to your instincts, calm down, and really think about, should I do this or not. So let's get into the days. That's just the overview, folks.
Great.
So let's get
Okay.
into it. All right, we're kicking it off on Monday, the last day of March, and it's going to be a hustle, magic, and shadow smoke show. So I can't wait for that. Mars and Saturn are going to link up in Pisces, which is going to whisper discipline, discipline. But there's going to be a haunted, dreamy twist with that discipline. So this is going to be a really awesome day to kind of quietly like commit to something meaningful to you, especially if you've been seeking like some spiritual work. Don't, maybe think less of a 5-year plan and maybe just be like, I need to get off my ass and do something.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get
Okay.
back to the gym, or all right, let me get the cobwebs off of these weights. Like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, or like, in 5 years, I'm going to get these 6-pack abs. In 5 years, I'm going to run this marathon. It's going to be like, then you need to get outside and move your body, or you need to do that thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right. Tuesday, April the 1st. Hey, it's April Fool's Day. So we've got some psychic prank energy. That is no joke.
Oh, great.
So,
Wonderful.
so April Fools is going to meet mystical mischief. So you can expect very strange synchronicities this day, some strange dreams, or unexpected truths bubbling up. So the moon is going to shift into Aquarius. It's going to push you, here we go, to rebel, but with a purpose. Guys, I think something big is going to happen this week.
Yeah.
This whole
This is sounding
rebel
kind of.
energy is crazy. So your vibe check on April Fool's Day is going to be the Oracle just got a Wi-Fi upgrade. Stormwatch, don't prank yourself into saying something you'll regret. Your words have power. Hello. Remember that. Use them wisely. All right, and now we're kicking off into Wednesday, April the 2nd, with Thunderbolts and Awakenings. We're going to have a cosmic espresso shot on Wednesday. Mercury and Uranus are getting flirty. They're sparking some breakthroughs, some genius ideas, and an urge to completely reinvent something. I'm telling you, like, this energy, I'm pretty pumped about it. The vibe check is this mad scientist meets your inner child. I don't know. Stormwatch, don't cut your bangs at 3 a.m. unless they're soul bangs. Then maybe. So don't do something
Just
stupid.
never do that anyway.
Just don't cut bangs.
Don't cut bangs at 3 a.m. You know you're... No, don't do that.
Don't do it. You'll regret it. Thursday, April the 3rd, we've got sacred drama and a gentle revolt. So we've got Venus and Pisces that is going to want to connect with beauty. But the moon in Aquarius is like, I need space to feel my feels, you know? So you're probably going to feel some tension between heart and mind, which is going to be a great day if you are creative and you love to perform art. It's going to be a great day, but it's going to be tricky too, because you may have to do like, your 9 to 5, like spreadsheets, and you're not going to want to because you want to be painting this, protest poster or whatever instead. So just remember, to speak your truth, but don't weaponize your poetry, okay? That's your storm watch for that day. And then we're finally heading into the weekend with Friday, April the 4th. We've got emotional Molotovs and magic mirrors.
Oh God, Molotovs. Okay.
We've got
the text was right. Let's see which keyword here is right.
The moon enters Pisces, which is going to make everyone extremely unhinged and psychic. So emotions are going to flow like moon water, and it's going to be a line between intuition and projection gets blurry. So your vibe's going to be very sea witch doing breath work in a thunderstorm kind of vibe. And your storm watch is going to be to watch for passive aggressive vibes. Cleanse your space and maybe your group chat. Hey guys, if this hasn't already been insane, Saturday is going to be the most magical day because we have a portal that's going to open on Saturday, April the 5th. This is one of the most spiritually potent days of this week because the moon is going to conjunct Saturn in Pisces, which is going to ground your dreams into fucking reality. So anything you've been thinking or dreaming of, it's going to manifest and quick. So this is going to be a day, again, this is Saturday, April the 5th. This is the day to do your vision boards, any kind of rituals you have, even if that's just crying in the bath while manifesting your next era, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be huge. So the vibe on Saturday, April the 5th is going to be cosmic architect with mermaid dreams. Okay? The sky's the limit. Okay. Stormwatch. Don't confuse emotional heaviness with failure. It's just transformation, guys. It's transformation in progress. So as you're like kind of thinking about where you want to head, don't be like, I'm such a loser. You know, I didn't do A, B, C, and D. Forget that. It's transformation, man. Embrace that. Remember, your energy flows where your thought goes. So God, please remember this on April the 5th because it's going to be powerful. So finally, just a little wrap up for you. This week is going to be dreamy, fiery, a little chaotic, but it's setting the tone, guys, for the next 20 years. I'm going to say that again. This week is setting the tone for the next 20 years. So please be intentional, be weird, be brave. The universe is absolutely watching your reel in your brain. So be careful what you're thinking, okay?
Wow.
It's going to be a wild week. I can't wait to see what the hell's going to happen. So back to you in the studio, Adele.
All right. Well, it sounds like the world's not going to end if we're planning the next 20 years at least. So there's that.
That's true. And maybe there'll be a better 20 years than the last 20 have been.
Let's hope. Has not been a good start to this century. But it wasn't a good start to the last one either.
The vibe check this week it's intense. I mean, I feel like when our powers combine, who knows?
Yeah. Well, geez.
Yeah, beat that.
Well, to kind of match that tone, I guess, I have a mystery for this week.
Which we have not had a mystery in a hot minute.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my Jessica Fletcher hat on, see what I can do.
All right. And this one's not as much as a mystery as it is so mysterious.
Okay.
And having many mysteries within it.
Oh, dear.
So, for centuries, Catholics have been hoarding secrets, relics, and mystery writs behind velvet curtains and gold gates. And you know what? The rest of us were never invited. So,
Mom!
Mom. Sandy Gillis. Anyway, so today, we're kicking in the incense-scented doors and asking, what the hell is going on inside the Vatican?
Oh! All right.
All right. So yes, today's topic is the Vatican. And I had to exclude topics because it's just getting too long. So I am definitely going to not cover all of the mysteries, but I kind of picked the high points. Like, this is wild. So before we get into it, how about a brief history of the Vatican? And then we'll get into the secrets and mystery of the Vatican.
Okay.
All right, so Vatican City, or officially the Vatican City State, is its own country. It's tiny, rich, and run entirely by the Pope, which I don't think I really knew that. I don't think I realized how much power he had over the actual Vatican and that it's like he's pretty much the king.
I just thought the Vatican was a place in a country. Like it was just located. Do you know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah,
realize it was
I
a
didn't
thing.
realize it's like the Pope's kingdom.
I had no idea either. So I'm we were not raised Catholics, to be fair, okay? So before you judge us,
We
we
don't
did
know
not
shit about
know.
Catholicism.
So yeah. I
Um,
mean, 'cause we're what we well, y'all know how we grew up, so
you
we
know our
won't go there.
you
We
know our
also have a
backstory.
king. This is a little different.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'm gonna mispronounce stuff. We're gonna be clueless and mind blown by all of this. So if you're
Yeah.
Catholic and bored by it, sorry. But yeah, it has its own laws, its own currency, post office, and its own military, the Swiss Guard.
Nuh-uh. For real? It's
Yeah,
like Emerald City. Like what?
it really is like Emerald City. It's exactly like Emerald City. And the Swiss Guard, they kind of look like medieval parade floats. Like they look kind of funny, like costumey, but they are like trained killers.
Oh
And they've been
shit.
like protecting the Pope since 1506. Like this is an elite group of Swiss Guard.
Wow. Like I wonder what one I wonder I feel like you're born into that. Like my great 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 granddad. So it's like did we carry on this legacy of protecting the Pope in the Vatican City?
Probably.
And they have their own
Yeah.
like coat of arms or something.
I bet. I mean, you could probably write like a
Right.
little novella about
Yeah.
a Swiss Guard.
I mean you could. Like that's a great TM. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. Personally.
Yeah. So like they're cute, they're fun, take pictures, don't fuck around with them though.
Okay.
Um the Pope
Noted.
holds absolute power over the Vatican, so there's no voting, no checks and balances, just the Pope in
Sounds
charge.
like America. How about that?
Yeah, like this is it, and he has the global influence over it all. But you might ask why was the Vatican formed? I was always like, where the hell did this come from? But after losing control of the papal states during Italy's unification, the Pope basically locked himself in the Vatican for 60 years and was just like, no, this is my space. Like, this is the Vatican. We're not going, this isn't Italy. And then finally in 1929, Mussolini cut a deal. And he said, well, pretty much, we'll give you your own micronation and you just stay out of our politics. And that's how it's been. And thus the modern Vatican was born, a religious monarchy wrapped in marble and mystery. But now let's get into the stuff that's not so public.
Let's do it.
I have these in different acts. So, Act One, what you're not allowed to see is the Pope's apartment. We'll start soft. It's gonna get weirder and weirder as we go. So the Pope's official residence is the Apostolic Palace, and it's a 1,000 room Vatican fortress overlooking St. Peter's Square. 1,000 rooms. It includes a private chapel, medical suite, and reception rooms. But unless you're the Pope, you're not getting in there. But here's the twist: Pope Francis doesn't even live there right now.
What?
He chose to stay in a more humble guest house instead, supposedly for simplicity. But
Sure.
some say it's to avoid the politics and power plays of kind of living in that space. Or maybe even just bad vibes lingering from who knows how long, and like all the crap, these walls have seen. So, interestingly enough, Pope Francis does not even live at this palace. And then, yes, we do have crypts beneath St. Peter's. So, beneath the grandeur of St. Peter's Basilica, which I think is like the biggest thing probably most people want to go see when they're there, is the Basilica and the chapel. But we also have the Vatican grottos, which are a maze of crypts, tombs, and chapels holding the remains of dozens of popes, saints, and even royals. You can
Oh.
visit part of it. So walk softly, low ceilings, a few flickering lights, but most of it is still sealed, guarded, reserved. You're not going to see it. And right below that, even deeper down, is something older and stranger, which is the Vatican necropolis. It's a literal Roman graveyard, like buried under layers of holy ground. So they literally like built the Vatican on top of this Roman graveyard, essentially. And
it might explain some of this stuff going on.
yeah, yeah. And so while tourists snap selfies upstairs, just remember right below them is a whole city of the dead. That doesn't
Hmm.
creep you out. And then while we're talking about Vatican necropolis, just a little bit more about that. So that is actually like a first century Roman cemetery. And like I said, it's filled with tombs, shrines, and bones. And this is where they actually believe St. Peter himself is buried, allegedly,
Wow.
under the layers of stone, myth, and marble. So he's supposed to be under his very own basilica, which ironically, Jesus, I think, said to him, "Build my church," like on something, and
Oh
it's
no.
literally built on St. Peter. So yeah, this wasn't even properly excavated until the 1940s, and
Oh
to this
wow.
day, access is extremely limited. So if you're not a scholar, a priest, or a very special person, you're not getting down there.
So no Zach Bagans.
No Zach Bagans. Most
Oh.
people don't even know that this even exists, actually. Um, and then next up, we have, I think, some like a well-known thing is the Vatican secret archives. There's been like a lot of secrets and rumors about what might be contained in this.
Yes.
Um, it's not called secret because no one's supposed to know about it. It's secret because it's locked tight. It's more like personal, like things to the Vatican, or at least historically, it's more of how it was. So it's more like private records, not so much secret records, is what they're saying.
Okay.
But we'll see about that. It's over 53 miles of shelving whenever you put it all together. Like it's that much, like just documents and things down there. The vault holds centuries of classified church documents and many which the public have never seen. What's in there? Well, trial transcripts of Galileo, letters from Henry VIII begging for annulment, orders for crusades, inquisitions, and worse, and possibly blueprints to the chronovisor, which is a time machine, um, exorcism logs, and gospels that contradict church doctrine, is what we think is.
Whoa.
Actually, I think those are the things we pretty much know are down there. And only a handful of scholars are granted access, and even they have to know exactly what they're asking for. You're not allowed to just go down there and browse. So I would love to just go thumb through that
Yeah.
for like a few days.
Don't mind me. I'm good.
Yeah, and you cannot, if you do somehow get access to all of this, you're not allowed to browse it. Like I said, no photocopies, no smartphones, just a cold desk and a watchful Vatican handler, like watching you go through the books and the documents.
It's like, oh, I think my Bojangles delivery's here. You mind picking that up for me?
Right?
Take the
Oh,
pictures.
they'll get chicken grease on this stuff.
I'm like have like a little thing of fries and biscuits.
Some seasoning. Like, what?
Like, I believe that's some Cajun seasoning right there.
Wow. But yeah, there are also rumors that the lost books of the Bible, like I mentioned, also Nazi documents,
Ew, vomit.
correspondence as well.
Oh
Um,
God.
and we know the Bible as a neatly bound spiritual greatest hits collection, if you will, as of now. But early Christianity was not tidy, so there's like all sorts of stuff pre like what we have now that doesn't quite fit so nicely that they think is down there,
Wow.
which could possibly be dozens of gospels, like not included in the Bible. Uh,
Goodness.
so these are ones that are most speculated: the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Judas, and the Gospel of Thomas. I've heard a lot about the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. This is
Yeah.
where Mary is a spiritual leader and possibly more important than the male apostles.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gospel of Judas, where Judas isn't a traitor, but secretly doing what Jesus told him to do. And the Gospel of Thomas, filled with mystical sayings that sound more Eastern than Western. And these are just kind of locked down there for nobody to ever look at.
Wow, that's a shame.
Yeah, these didn't make the final cut into the Bible. And why, you might ask? Well, because they were too mystical, too contradictory, or just didn't align with the church's desired narrative. Uh,
Or, had things like women taking leadership roles and
yeah.
how
Furthermore,
that get out.
exactly. And furthermore, these texts hint at a more human Jesus, women in leadership roles, and alternate creation stories. So that has to go.
Shut that down.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
some of these gospels were discovered in places like Nag Hammadi, Egypt, but others scholars believe original manuscripts are in the Vatican archive, sealed away for centuries. They think they've just been hidden away in these archives. They weren't destroyed, just hidden. Is kind of where what they say. But let's talk about those Nazi files for a second.
Oh no. Okay.
So here's where things get a little darker. So during World War II, the Vatican maintained a policy of neutrality, but behind the scenes, it was quietly assisting Nazi officials and
Oh,
facilitated escape routes to South America after the war, known as the Rat Lines.
it
There's
would.
evidence that Nazi gold and looted art passed through church channels, and survivors, historians, and even governments have called on the Vatican to release its wartime records. But those files, still sealed. They won't do it. Not a good look. And there again, I'm not trying to crap on the Catholics. It's just, it's a mystery. Like, we don't know what's in these files. Um, but it's not a good look, right? By not releasing them. Um, and they're in the archives gathering dust and controversy. If open, they could rewrite what we think we know about the church's role during the Holocaust. So we just don't know. And
I think personally, Sarah's narrative. I mean, it's like you said, like if you're not releasing them, that can't be a good thing. I would think,
right, it's like
but
guilt by omission.
I would think if it cleared it, then they would be like, yes, please, like clear our names. Like here you go. I think
Yeah,
the reluctance to release it adds more speculation. I mean, that we really don't know, but it makes it look a little like, what?
yeah.
Why?
It's like at the what we know you did not much, which was neutral, but it sounds like it's probably worse.
That's really upsetting.
So yeah, well, in a mystery, I don't think we're ever gonna get that stuff
Yeah,
released.
but yeah, and of course, like we're not like shitting on anybody's
Right. We're just reporting.
business.
Like, this is straight
Yeah.
up reporting. I'm not like pulling this stuff out of my ass. And like, these are truly just mysteries. So please don't send us hate mail about this. It's just supposed to be fun today. Um, Aliens, though, in the Vatican, yes, this is a real theory, and the Vatican has done nothing to make it less weird. The Vatican Observatory, it does have a world-class observatory, one of the oldest astronomical institutions in the world, is actively involved in astrobiology, which is the search for life beyond Earth. And
That's
high,
cool.
what?
That's a cool like area of study.
Yeah, astrobiology. And
I'm an
high-ranking Vatican officials
astrobiologist.
had said things like, quote, alien life wouldn't contradict church doctrine. They would still be God's creatures. But some claim the secret archives contain documents or correspondence about UFO sightings, messages from ETs, or even evidence of non-human contact, hidden away to avoid mass spiritual panic, essentially.
Aw.
So, because if aliens exist, what does, the whole thing we're created in his image mean?
Oh my
It's kind of like
gosh.
the big hang up, is what it sounds like. So,
Come on. Boo.
they also have this delightful thing called the Apostolic Penitentiary, forgiveness for the unforgivable. I mean, this is dark.
What?
This This isn't confession. It's the Vatican's top secret spiritual tribunal, known for centuries as the Tribunal of Mercy, which I think sounds creepy as shit. But this isn't where you go if you lied on your taxes or, committed like an innocent little sin. This is where priests and sometimes even cardinals go to request absolution for sins so serious, so forbidden that only the Pope himself can forgive you. We're
Oh.
talking like desecrating the Eucharist, trying to assassinate the Pope, breaking the seal of confession, and possibly worse. Like, this is bad if you end up there. And the identities of people involved have never been revealed, and the sins confessed are classified. So they have this go on. We have no idea. That's sealed to the public. It's like part confession, part spiritual CIA. And it's been operating in total secrecy for over 800 years. Like, what?
I
This
feel
is
like
crazy.
it's like the witches. It's like the witches' council in Sabrina, but more sinister.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Like,
Like, wouldn't you
what?
love to be a fly on the wall? Like, he did what?
Imagine like if like you were the Pope, like the person trying to murder. It's like, so about that, that time you got real sick.
Or it's
I
like,
didn't put enough poison in there. Like how? Like what?
yeah, it's like you tried to kill me, but now you're asking me to forgive you.
Yeah, like oh wow. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like
It's just been on my mind, and I just
the devil made
had
me
to
do
let it
it.
go, man.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's pretty weird and dark.
That's
That I
pretty,
didn't know
yeah.
about. That was news to
Can you
me.
imagine the things that are confessed? Oh God, like, that gives me goosebumps. Oh
Like I
no.
don't like bad stuff. Um,
No.
Sidebar, there's also like rich people secrets here. Just
Ah,
this isn't like
of
so
course.
much a mystery, but let's just talk about this. The art collection, first of all. They have Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello. No, I'm just
Yes.
kidding. Raphael, Da Vinci, and like Caravaggio. They have one of the largest private art collections in the world, and most of it is hidden, unseen by the public, stored in vaulted rooms and private apartments. Some pieces are so valuable they've never even been photographed.
Maybe they
And
don't really have them at all. They just made it up.
right, probably,
That would
or
be
they just
funny.
don't have them. Yeah,
They're like,
they're fake.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh, and we also have the Vatican Bank, which just screams
What?
money laundering to me. I'm sorry. I've always said that all churches would be easy to launder money through. But anyway, officially called the Institute for the Works of Religion, this bank has been involved in money laundering, mafia ties, at least one suspicious death by hanging under Blackfriars Bridge in 1982. That was so recent. Yes, for real, his nickname was God's Banker. What? And it's one of the most opaque financial institutions in the world. And yes, it has its own ATMs in Latin. Like, this is just bananas. But, like, put a bookmark in that date of 1982 in this incident with the hanging, though,
Okay.
because I'm
We'll
going
remember
somewhere
that's
with
the
that.
year I was born. That's
Yeah,
a good deal for some of us.
right. Not so much God's banker. Sorry, dude. That's bad. And of course, you know you're up to good if you have an escape tunnel.
They
So
probably have a plenty of escape tunnels.
the
It sounds like.
well,
So
right,
which one is
this
it?
one we know about for sure is called the Passetto di Borgo, and it's a narrow, elevated tunnel connecting the Vatican to Castle Sant'Angelo. And it was built as a papal escape route in the 1200s, and it's been used by like during invasions, sieges, and at least one assassination attempt. Most tourists don't even know it exists.
Oh,
So yeah, it has like a escape tunnel that it's scary to me how much it's actually been used.
like oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Not a drill.
What's that? Oh yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
not a
Right, like
drill.
good thing I was already down here. All right, and then I did mention that time machine, and I'm gonna try to get through this part with a straight face, but it's
Oh
so
no.
ridiculous, it makes me laugh every time. So we
So I was
have,
pretty excited about that. I'm not gonna lie.
oh, well, you're gonna love this, the chronovisor. So this one feels like science fiction, but it's a real claim made by a Vatican insider. In the 1950s, a Benedictine monk named Father Pellegrino Ernetti, sorry, I'm really bad at Italian, Father
It's okay.
Pellegrino Ernetti announced that he helped invent a device called the chronovisor, a machine that could see through time. Now, you're not time traveling, you're seeing through time. It's a little different.
Oh,
You're just observing.
so like a kaleidoscope situation
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
it.
And how it allegedly worked, the chronovisor used mysterious, quote unquote, resonant energies in the atmosphere to reconstruct sound and light from historical events. Okay, Ernetti claimed he saw a performance of a lost Roman tragedy, Napoleon's speeches, and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ through this device. Okay. He even released a blurry photo of Jesus on the cross, which was later dismissed as fake. And some say he was forced to retract his claims before his death. I just think he's full of shit.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But yeah, that's allegedly a thing they have. Anyway, Ornetti claimed the project was developed in secret with Vatican backing and scientists, including Nobel Prize winner Enrico Fermi. After the chronovisor was allegedly completed, the Vatican dismantled it and buried the plans. And then in 1988, the Vatican issued a warning, quote, "Any device that attempts to capture the past is forbidden." But it's like, okay, why would they release that warning? It doesn't exist anymore. So that's just a whole inner loop of its own weirdness. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Theories and shadowy connections. So some believe it still is intact and hidden in the Apostolic Palace or the secret archives. Others think it revealed too much, including truth that would unravel the church's version of history.
Well,
It may even explain the prophetic accuracy of certain popes or how secret relics were quote unquote rediscovered. So it's like, ooh, maybe they used this to find stuff.
maybe it really was.
So is it just a hoax, or did the church really glimpse something they could, glimpse into the past?
We'll never know.
I don't know. I highly doubt it. But yes, and if you follow us on social, the clue this week was Galileo's middle finger. So we're going to talk a little bit about Galileo here. So come on, we know Galileo. He's the man who literally gave the church the finger from beyond the grave. Galileo Galilei, aka the father of modern science, was condemned by the Vatican in 1633 for saying the earth revolves around the sun. He was branded a heretic and sentenced to house arrest for life.
Oh.
That is a sentence for me.
You're like, please.
Sounds like the best thing. I can't.
I would love to come, however, I'm sentenced to life in the house.
Yeah, darn. But fast forward 95 years after his death, someone exhumed his body and stole 3 of his fingers. One of them.
Why?
One of them, his middle finger, which now sits on display at the museum in Florence.
No, it does not.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
No,
that little like golden.
Can't.
It's like that little glass egg. Like, yeah.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, and it's kind of comedic now because it's almost like he's giving them the big middle finger for condemning him when he was right all along. But while the Vatican finally cleared Galileo's name in 1992, they believe they've still got unreleased documents from his trial sealed away, especially since his science threatened the church's cosmology. So I think that's definitely in the archives.
Yeah.
And they also have a library of forbidden books.
All right.
Not like Hogwarts. It's worse. So from the 1500s until 1966, the Catholic Church kept an official index of forbidden books. Titles banned for being heretical, immoral, or just too mind-opening, really. On the list, of course, Galileo, Descartes, Copernicus, Voltaire, and even some fiction. Reading or owning these titles could get you excommunicated. Some books were burned. Others quietly disappeared into the Vatican's private library, which sits adjacent to the secret archives. Same guards, same restrictions, same don't ask questions kind of energy. You're never going to get to see these. Some even say that there's possibly within maybe this vault or somewhere within the Vatican is also a huge like porn stash throughout history to try to just keep it from out of the public.
What?
or for their own personal use. Who knows? But
What
that's
is
also a
happening
rumor.
here?
What's that?
What is happening here? I mean, this is like Pee Wee's Playhouse on
Yeah,
steroids.
this is
Like, I can't.
bonkers. Like, but yeah, in the end, it wasn't about banning books. It was about controlling what people were allowed to know.
Well, you know what? And I will just say this because of where we are right now. It's never about banning books.
It's
Let's be
never,
real. It's never about banning books.
never. Um, but that's the end of Act 1. Now we're gonna get
Wow.
to Act 2, which is relics, blood, and holy horror.
Holy horror.
So this isn't just about the church. This isn't just about what the church protects. It's about what it refuses to explain. This
Okay.
section.
A lot.
So allegedly,
I want to know more about that time machine, damn it.
seriously, allegedly they have the spear of destiny, or at least a piece of it, I think. Legend says this is the spear that pierced Jesus' side during the crucifixion,
What?
known as the Holy Lance. And wherever
Oh,
it
no.
goes, empires rise or fall.
What?
This is creepy though. Charlemagne had it. Napoleon searched for it. Hitler allegedly got it in his hands and then lost it just before his downfall. And today the Vatican claims to have a piece of it. So I don't know.
I don't like that.
There's also, this is fucking weird and kind of morbid. So the blood that won't stay dead. There's this vial of blood they have called the Miracle of Saint Januarius, also known as San Gennaro, I think is how you say it. But anyway, every year in Naples, a sealed glass vial containing what's said to be the dried blood of Saint Januarius, a 3rd century martyr, is placed on display, and sometimes it mysteriously liquefies. When and why?
What?
Yeah, this is kind of weird. So the church brings it out 3 times a year. One on his feast day, which is September 19th.
What's a feast
Second,
day?
I don't know what that is. Mom, what is that? Is that Catholic holiday? I don't know what feast day
Can I
is.
get in on one of those?
It sounds good to me.
Oh wait,
Two,
that's right. Today was Sarah's feast day. I forgot. Damn
I
it.
couldn't go because I was under house arrest for life.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I sure wish I could have celebrated with you.
Send me the leftovers.
Yeah,
2, on the Saturday before the first Sunday in May, so that's coming up
that's coming up.
relatively soon. And December 16th, to commemorate his protection from a past disaster. So I guess,
So this dried blood goes out on display
yeah.
and liquefies on these days, or just sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, there you
or
go.
It does.
It gets like Groundhog's Day here a little bit. So each cardinal holds it up.
It liquefies it to early spring, and if it doesn't, you have 6 more weeks to live.
Oh, kind of like a good omen versus a bad omen.
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. So each time a cardinal holds it up in front of a crowd and the faithful watch to see will it liquefy or not. When the blood doesn't liquefy, it seems as a bad omen. And historically, those years have been disasters. 1980, a major earthquake in southern Italy, 2,900 dead. 1939, start of World War II. 1943, Nazi occupation of Naples. 2020, well, just 2020. It happened in 2020. It didn't liquefy. So if God's not happy, he'll like use that to tell you, I guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently
is this like
doesn't.
televised?
What's that?
Like is this like televised?
It's televised. Maybe they put it on social media. We gotta watch it in May.
We need to watch out for this, guys. I've never heard of this in my life. And I listen, I am 100% not being blasphemous about laughing. I've never in my life heard anything like this. So
yeah, it sounds wild, right?
Like I'm not trying to be that person.
I mean, they've actually sent this to labs and they've like investigated it and tried to replicate it, and they can't replicate it. So they're like, we don't really know why it gets liquid. Sometimes it goes liquidy and then doesn't sometimes. But
weird.
blood should be dried all the time, I guess, when it's that old. But sometimes it liquefies.
We gotta watch this in May.
Don't worry, this is gonna get even weirder. Like, not
no,
this,
it can't.
The whole story. But what does the church say about this? Well, the Vatican doesn't officially call this a miracle, but he doesn't deny it either. And scientists have, like I said, tried to replicate the effects using chemicals that behave similarly, but the exact process remains unexplained, especially how it stays consistent for centuries. How it'll be like dry, then not. So is it chemistry, divine intervention, or just a warning system coated in
I,
ancient
I
blood?
don't know.
Whatever it is, we have no idea. But it's odd. If that wasn't morbid enough, you also have Pope Innocent, who is still on display. So you can swing by a side chapel in St. Peter's, and you'll see the glass coffin of Pope Innocent the 11th, fully preserved like a papal Snow White.
No
His body
thanks.
looks surprisingly intact for being dead since 1689. The church says it's thanks to special embalming. Others whisper it's divine preservation. Um, yeah, because nothing says, eternal rest like people staring at you for hundreds of years.
This is
Yeah,
just
you
like
can look through
haunted
this
house,
window.
man.
Yeah, this is
A
freaking
real life
crazy.
haunted house. And I don't mean that insulting, but there's just a lot
It's
of just
spooky
spooky stuff
and like
happening.
gore. It's kind of gory. Well, I've
It,
always thought, like,
yeah,
no offense, Catholics, but you guys are kind of like gothy.
very much
I don't know
so.
if you were aware.
Well, even like the services, I guess, like with the incense and
And their
all the
outfits,
things.
all the black.
Yeah, very
It's
gothy.
pretty
I'm
gothy.
getting goth vibes, but there's a lot happening here at Vatican that I'm just like, what?
Yeah, this is crazy. At least to us non-Catholics, we had no idea this stuff was going on.
No idea.
And then, along with that, you also have cursed relics of Judas. So there are rumors that the Vatican holds personal items linked to Judas Iscariot, which I didn't know he had a last name.
I never knew that either.
Judas Iscariot. Um, Allegedly, they have coin fragments coins and even fragments of the rope he hanged himself with.
What?
And supposedly these are kept under lock and key because they're
How have they
considered
collected all
spiritually
of this?
toxic. Yeah, and yeah, so they're kind of like, this is almost like, I guess, what the Warrens did. I guess they're trying to keep these spiritually toxic items out of circulation.
Right.
Allegedly they have that. I mean, there again, they might not. Like, some of this stuff's speculation, some of it's not. I don't know. How would you even, I don't know. I have no idea.
How would you even know? Yeah, like how would you even know? Like I don't know.
Um,
Oh,
Supposedly there's also the Seal of Solomon. I do vaguely remember this story. It's a mystical ring. Do you remember this? Said to have belonged to King Solomon, engraved with a symbol to command angels and demons.
no.
I like vaguely kind of remember that. I was like, that's like kind of cool. But anyway, some
I mean,
believe
is it kind of like the I don't know, like the Power Rangers ring, or not Power Rangers ring, but the Captain Planet, like trying to like we need to summon
heart, earth. Yeah, I
wind,
guess.
fire.
Um,
I don't know.
I don't know. Some believe it's linked to Vatican's exorcism rituals.
Oh
It may have
man,
been used to seal away demonic forces during ancient rites.
that might
The
be.
church doesn't acknowledge it, but oddly, a version of it appears in medieval Vatican manuscripts.
Oh no,
So
yeah, that might be kept under lock and key.
maybe
But
at one point they
good.
had it. Who knows? And yes, the Ark of the Covenant is alleged
Okay, yeah.
hidden away here. I don't know if I believe that, but of course it's so shrouded in mystery anyway. Why not speculate?
Why not? Let's
Um,
add it.
so supposedly built to hold the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, the Ark of the Covenant is one of the most powerful relics in biblical history, and it's the whole Indiana Jones plot line
Oh yeah, we
of
know all
the
about
very
that.
first one. Um, so some believe the church knows exactly where this thing is. It's not vanished because it's just kind of disappeared from history. It's been a big mystery. Nobody knows where it is. Some say it's in Ethiopia under guard by monks sworn to silence. Other whispers it's been secretly transferred to the Vatican. Maybe like locked away in all the secret places it has. And maybe it's hidden because of its dangerous spiritual energy or because of, I don't know. I think it just went missing. I honestly just think it's a missing treasure. But yeah, this
Yeah,
has been
it could be at
something,
the Warrens' house. Has anybody checked there?
right? Who knows?
I mean, or Zach Bacon's museum. Like nobody knows.
I mean, yeah, but like, what if it really is just like in somebody's attic or something?
They have like no idea, like they live in this
No.
castle. Oh, I mean, who knows? That's crazy,
Yeah. There's no proof, but there's also no denial.
right?
Vatican's been silent about this rumor. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a possibility. If you have blood, a blood vial, why the fuck not?
I mean, yeah, for real.
But this one's pretty creepy. There's also the prophecy of the popes. So in the 12th century, Saint Malachi, an Irish archbishop, claimed to receive a vision from God listing 112 future popes, each described in strange poetic phrases. The list was hidden for centuries until it surfaced in 1590. Most popes on the list, the clues line up a little too well with their lives, symbols, or names, so they're saying that it seems to be oddly accurate, at least early on.
Wow.
But here's the part that gives everyone goosebumps. And I didn't know about this, and then we could talk about recent things. So the 112th pope, the final one on this, like the last pope, is described simply as Peter the Roman, who will nourish the sheep in many tribulations. And when these things are finished, the city of seven hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. So I think like end of times, right? I'm getting that vibe. Well, Pope Francis is widely considered to be the 112th pope. And he was just very sick and almost died and came out of a coma. And that would have probably scared the shit out of me if I knew about this prophecy.
Yeah.
And he is the first Jesuit pope, the first from the Americas, and has hinted at his own short papacy and possible retirement or death soon. So either this is all coincidence or we're living through the final chapter of the prophecy of the end of Rome.
Wow.
We'll see. Maybe it'll be this week, judging from the
I
forecast.
mean, who knows? I mean, golly.
So that's just kind of eerie. And now we're in
That's
Act 3, guys. We still have more secret scandals and missing truths. Like, I can't believe how much mystery there
This is
is.
too much, man.
So, not everything the church hides is ancient. Some of it disappeared just decades ago, and some of it was never supposed to exist at all. So, this one, now remember how I said remember 1982?
Oh
Well, the
yeah.
disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi in 1983. She's a 15-year-old girl, a Vatican citizen. There's only like 800 people that are citizens, by the way. Like
I was about to
it's
say that has
tiny.
to be super small.
And most of them are involved in the church somehow.
Yeah.
And so she's a Vatican citizen and daughter of a papal employee, vanished after a music lesson in Rome. She was last seen getting into a car and never seen again. And since then, the Vatican has stonewalled every investigation. So theories range from mafia blackmail to sex trafficking to her being silenced after overhearing something dangerous. Even the Vatican's own chief exorcist, Father Amorth, claims she was kidnapped for sex parties involving Vatican police and diplomats, then murdered.
Oh God.
In 2019, after public pressure, the Vatican opened two sealed tombs in the Teutonic Cemetery based on a tip. But when they opened them, there were two completely empty tombs. So that was already odd. Like he opened these tombs out of, them getting some sort of a clue, but then there's nothing in the tombs. So there wasn't, Emanuela, but there was also no bones, not even like the people who were supposed to be buried there, which was just kind of odd. I don't know if it means anything, but it's weird. The Vatican's response, just a vague mention of structural changes. Like, okay. So, yeah, like it's weird. You can't really get lost in this city. It's like the size of a Costco.
I was about to say like it can't. Yeah, that's.
So it feels more that she was purposely
That's-
disappeared.
And sinister happened. I feel like with that, and that's terrible.
But I think my thing with it being in 1983 and someone saying this girl was a part of some of these possible mafia ties, but you also have that banker murdered the year before. I just wonder if they're connected. Like
Yeah,
it
that's
sounds like something shady going on between all of that, which could
very
be
much
like
so.
sex trafficking and mafia or all of it. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Who
So,
knows? That's terrible.
and all these scary tunnels and things, like I don't know. I don't know. It's creepy, but that's a very small space to just disappear without a trace.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that happened in the 80s. And we also, this is so morbid too, like the dead Pope on trial. This is crazy. So back in 897 AD, Pope Stephen, spelled like Stephen
Uh-oh,
the
like our
Sixth.
question night.
Yeah, Pope Stephen the Sixth literally dug up his predecessor, Pope Formosus, dressed his corpse in papal robes, and propped him up on a throne and put him on trial.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he literally put a corpse on trial. The
How did
charge
that go?
he was found guilty. The charge of violating church law and being unworthy of the papacy. They found the corpse guilty, cut off his blessing fingers, and threw him into
His
the Tiber
blessing
River.
fingers.
Yeah, and threw him into the Tiber River. So yeah, Vatican drama isn't new. They were doing Weekend at Bernie's justice before it was cool.
and that's where the plot from Weekend at Bernie's came from,
Like,
guys.
wow, how he must have hated that person. And then
That's crazy.
this is like I think a smoking gun. Vatileaks. So this was like a big leak in 2012. The Vatican's polished surface cracks badly when hundreds of confidential documents were leaked to the press in what became known as Vatileaks. The leak came from inside the Holy House. The source, Pope Benedict, oh shit, was just the 16th, I think, Pope Benedict the 16th's personal butler, Paolo Gabriele. Yes, the butler was the one who leaked everything. So first, the financial corruption. The leaked memos and letters exposed how charitable donations meant for poor were being routed to pay for Vatican renovations, lavish dinners, and private apartments for powerful cardinals, so not a good look. And reports showed over 400 million euros in shady real estate deals, including luxury apartments in London purchased with church money. There were complaints of quote unquote personal enrichment among clergy tasked with managing the Vatican Bank. So give to the poor, they said. But obviously, it's not making it to the poor. So that was one. And then internal backstabbing and sabotage. So letters from whistleblowers inside the Vatican described a toxic culture of betrayal, paranoia, and sabotage. There were even documents about officials trying to destroy each other's careers, accusing one another of disloyalty or heresy to gain political gain. One bishop referred to Vatican's politics as, quote, corruption reaching the top levels of the hierarchy. Basically, it's not just Game of Thrones, it's Game of Thrones with incense in Latin. So, like, it's very political and dicey, and not probably this peaceful, I don't know, idea we have in our heads of spiritual leaders.
Yeah.
Very, like,
It's a shame.
cutthroat. Not only that, allegations of blackmail and unstable clergy. Some documents hinted at a network of closeted clergy vulnerable to blackmail either for financial leverage or to keep them quiet about internal scandals. This was especially explosive because the church's teaching on sexuality and celibacy. So there were concerns that some of these priests were being used as pawns in internal power struggles. And then you also have a resistance to reform. Pope Benedict the 16th was trying quietly to clean up the mess, but the leak showed intense resistance from within the Vatican. Some higher ups actively sabotaged his efforts, fearing what would happen if the church became too transparent. And letters leaked from cardinals to Benedict show them pleading for protection against internal enemies and hinting at plots. So, rebuild a lot of the craziness. And then the fallout after the leaks, the public and press demanding accountability. But instead of trial or reform, Benedict resigned in February 2013. Officially, he said it was for health reasons. Unofficially, it was because of Vatileaks. It exposed like a lot of deep-rooted just corruption. And then let's see, that'll take us into Act 4, which is prophecy as possessions in the end of days. To appropriately end this out, right? So not all miracles bring comfort. Some are warnings.
Oh
Uh,
no.
so in 1917, three shepherd children, and I for some reason remember hearing about this in I think anthropology of all classes, and I'm like, why the fuck were we talking about this? But anyway, in 1917, three shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal, said they were visited by the Virgin Mary, who gave them three secrets: visions of suffering, apocalypse, and judgment. So, two were
Oh,
revealed early on. One, a vision of hell. Two, a prophecy about World War II and the rise of communism. The third secret wasn't made public until 2000, and even then, people believe we didn't get the full version. The church claimed it showed the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II, but others, including insiders and Sister Lucia, one of the original visionaries, so one of the kids, hinted it
wow.
involved a crisis of faith inside the church, possibly involving um, apostasies as at the highest level. So, as in evil inside the Vatican itself. A pope surrounded by ruins, walking through a dying city of seven hills. So they're kind of like, I don't know, like maybe the fall of this faith. I don't know, something bad to do with faith. Um, of course, exorcisms. It's Catholic. They're not.
Yes. Oh
They're,
man.
we also have Vatican exorcisms. So the Vatican has trained official exorcists since ancient times.
Can you imagine, like, if you were like, you're like, I'm not just an exorcist, I'm an official exorcist trained in Vatican City. Like, whoa.
Yeah, like went to
Wow,
like
right
exorcism
there.
school. Um,
Yeah, that's like the, I don't know, like top of the top.
yeah. Yeah, today priests are still trained in exorcism at schools like Pontificio Ateneo Regina Apostolorum.
Can you like what kind like how do they train one for the like I want to know. Like I'm sure they won't let you go and like can I just come and watch like how you
Yeah.
train?
Well, actually, Father.
Like absolutely not.
Well, I would say you could have trained with Father Gabriel Amworth, but he passed in 2016. But he's one of the chief
Oh,
exorcists. Like he was like one of the lead exorcists up until his passing in 2016. And he claimed to have performed over 70,000 exorcisms.
like
Bro, 70,000.
but I mean I'm not and I'm not trying to sound ignorant guys, I promise, but how many people
Right.
like how like does this happen more often than we think? Like, because when we talk about exorcisms on the podcast, I mean, I feel like there's only so many that make it, I guess, in the news or whatever. But like, he said he alone performed 70,000,
He
seventy
claimed to
thousand.
perform over 70,000.
Like that just seems
Maybe a lot of them were like one and done.
maybe
Like,
I
I'm
don't
just
know,
gonna lay hands on you with this prayer cloth
or
and
maybe
cast those
what
demons out.
what do they consider an exorcism? Like I
I
don't
don't think
know,
they
but if
consider an exorcism what the Church of God considers an exorcism.
maybe that's where I'm maybe that's where I'm not
But,
following.
but he even said that some victims levitated, spoke in ancient tongues, or knew secrets about clergy that had never, like,
Whoa.
so, I mean, he's like, people, like, demons are real. He also believed the devil had infiltrated the Vatican itself. So he thinks the evil is within as well. Quote, some cardinals, he once said, do not believe in God and work for Satan.
Oh.
So, yeah, he definitely thinks the devil's there. Why not? Why
I
not?
mean, he would know, like no offense, but like,
He
he's
should.
probably expert on the subject. So
Yeah, and
dang,
then this one's
what a
really
fear.
odd too. The Rh negative blood theory. We're gonna get into like some of the weirder stuff now. So here's one from like this is very fringe, but I thought it was interesting. Some believe the Vatican is suppressing research into Rh negative blood, which is a rare type found in only 15% of humans. Maybe that's the blood in that vial. Um, why, you might ask? Rh negative blood is resistant to certain diseases. It lacks a protein connected to rhesus monkey genes, which all other humans have, and it appears with strange genetic patterns in ancient royal bloodlines. Like what?
why? What?
This conspiracy theorists say the Vatican has classified genetic studies tied to relics and remains, possibly because it doesn't fit the narrative of created in his image. So they're still saying that, like, maybe it's like alternate, creation kind of stuff. And yes, some push that even further, claiming it points to non-human ancestry, essentially, or ancient intervention. Um, they're fascinated in this particular blood. Also, the apparition of St. Peter himself. So I guess St. Peter's ghost might be a real saying. There are whispers that, you can see the ghost of good old St. Peter, or at least a figure resembling him appearing to popes during moments of crisis. Sometimes he speaks, sometimes he simply watches. So he's said to have appeared before the sack of Rome in the final days of World War II, and reportedly to Pope Benedict the 16th before his resignation. Maybe he was like, you need to leave.
Yeah, I think it might be time.
Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes he's still making appearances. From relics to rumors to popes who may be the last. We barely scratched the marble surface of all the secrets here. But I do want to thank, I have a lot of sources to thank in this episode, which is why I saved them to the end. I'm not going to go through all of these, but this episode was crafted with love, sarcasm, and a whole lot of research from sources like National Geographic, the BBC, Vatican Archives, and more. And you'll find the full list on our show notes of all the stuff I used to reference this. And that's it. That's just some of the mystery of the Vatican.
That was heavy.
Digest all of that. And we'll see what we're going to do for next week.
Let's do it.
All right. I have the wheel. And shall we go ahead and spin?
Let's do it.
All right. Ooh. You got
Speaking of cults, here we go.
All right. So you'll be covering cult next time.
I will be covering a cult next time. So here we go. Well, I don't know what's going to happen this week, guys. So stay safe out there. The energy, the vibes sound, I don't know. They sound pretty crazy. But just please stay safe out there, friends.
Yeah, stay curious.
And as you learned in Booger News, never trust
living.
Bye, you guys.
Later, taters.